Alright, for our next topic, we're going to learn the basics of working with forms in React. We will see how to capture input from an input HTML element and have the data available for the form submission. I'm going to begin by creating a file named form.js within the components folder. As usual, let's start by export the form function. And for now, for the JSX to be returned, I would pretty much have a form within which I'll enclose a group of divs, a piece of label. For now, let's take it as username, and also for that particular label we will have an input type of text. Let's also have a button placed within the form, and the type of the button to be submit, as we are submitting the form and trying to retrieve the information that was filled within the input field. So as of now, let's name it as submit. Now if you see, we'll have to import this particular into our app.js, and if you switch to the browser, you'll be able to see a form with username, input value, and the submit button. Now let's head back. What do we want to do? We want to capture what is written within the input text, right? For that, what we'll first do is that we'll make a use of state. So how do we write state? We have two variables, two things. One is your variable and one more is the function which is used to dispatch or set the variable. So as of now, let's take it as username itself. So set username, and initially I would like to keep it as blank, and this value will be given to the input. So you'll have username over here. Okay, and now if you want to detect some changes in the input field, what is the event we call? We call the on change event. So on change, what are you gonna do? We'll call a callback, and obviously we'll make use of the dispatcher which is used to set. So how do we set it to? If you recall the event handling video, I did tell you we are going to use something called as event.target.value. That's exactly what we're going to do here. So event.target.value. Okay, you can place this event over here, and now if you have a look at let's do one thing. We will log things so that it's visible. So I'll do console.log, and I'll just go about doing this, and now it's saying use status not defined. How do you do that? So import from where? From React, and you know it is a named export, right? We learned from our mistakes. So now this is done. Now let's get back, and now if I open the log, refresh things, and for simplicity let's put this over down so that you are able to see. As of now you see two logs happening, but it is empty. That is when the form.js got rendered. Now let's say that we input something. Are you seeing the change happening? So A, B, C, D, yeah. So you see each key is being hit. You see there is a change that is happening on change, right? So you're getting the value that is stored within the input field. Okay, so now next what do you want to do? Next what we'll do is, as we click on submit, we'll try to print a message or alert that okay, the form is submitted by this particular user. So how do you go about doing that? What we'll do is we'll create a function const which handles a submit. Okay, so with this what we'll do is we'll alert, let's template string it, rental form, sorry, not here, form submitted by whom? By the username. Okay, whoever submits it. So now let's just remove this log, and how do you trigger it? Obviously you'll have an on click here. On click, what do? Handle submit. This is pretty much it. So let's have a look. I'll refresh, and now if I say what's the username, me, and if I hit submit, you see that form submitted by the name that was inputted in the input field. Makes sense? But one more thing, if you just notice now, as soon as I clicked OK on the alert, the page refreshed and there's a question mark over here. So how do you go about not actually refreshing the page or not submitting is using again the event property, which says event dot prevent default. So what does prevent default stand here? As you all know that whenever you submit a form, it's all about going to some other page as you have submitted. But now here you wanna prevent the default action of submit by not refreshing the page. So you go about using event.prevent default. Here you can have event. So this makes sense now. Now what we'll do, we'll refresh again, get this back right. Sorry. Now if I submit, you see form submitted, name is coming, and as soon as I hit OK, nothing has happened. Why? Because we put the event.prevent default, right? So this is how you kind of play along with forms in React. So I would suggest you try to handle more fields like this. As of now, for an example purpose, I have shown you only one field. You can go about using username, password, and even a checkbox or even a drop down for that matter, wherein a particular item in the drop down is selected and the form is submitted. After the form is submitted, you can go about displaying whatever the choice the user had filled. So this will ensure that you kind of know how forms are being dealt with, and also how event handling becomes very important when you play along with forms.